What's up, y'all? We are in the Brentwood neighborhood of North Austin, and today I want to give y'all a tour of one of our interior-only remodels. Now, we don't only do like big custom homes and huge additions and full remodels. The lifeblood of the company, you know, we really came up through doing kitchens, baths, interior only, and I still love it because it totally supplements everything we're doing. It kind of oils all the cogs in the machine. It keeps us bringing in money for our overhead, and it's also a way faster turnover. So you just have this like awesome before and after, and it's so quick and it's so satisfying. So let me take you on inside and just show you what we got going on. Okay, so we completely transformed this space along with the help of one of our awesome interior designers, Lauren Bernard with Lo and Behold Interiors. She did interior space planning, selections, and all of the beautiful renderings that you're gonna see in this video. Okay, so I would say 99% of the time, we're doing a kitchen remodel, we're doing like an interior only, it's gonna include load-bearing wall removal. So first off, right when you walk in, there was a wall right here. So it divided, it had this tiny little front room, and then it kind of started our kitchen. So the original kitchen was up against this wall. This doorway was actually shifted over. So we shifted this doorway down because now our whole kitchen is right here. Custom white oak cabinetry. We have this awesome green backsplash, little 2x2 square. So what we did is we took this whole area down to the studs. So all the drywall that you see is new. So up to this point, we got in our new HVAC ducts, we got in new grills, we ran some ducts under the subfloor to reach that living room over there because we have a low ceiling. We got in all of our electric, we got in all of our plumbing top out and some rough plumbing under the house. We've actually passed all of those inspections so that we had to go to insulation, then we could hang drywall, then we passed our drywall inspection, and now we're getting ready for finish out. So what the guys are doing is, you know, this was all covered in drywall mud. We had to scrape all the floors. Now we're putting down 1/4-inch hardy because we want a nice level surface because this whole area is gonna be tiled. And on top of that, it's hex tile. So any little imperfection, it shows lippage, it'll show gaps. This has to be a very nice level floor. So tiles also going in through here to the utility room and the front office. So once we get our tile in, then we're doing doors, trim, we're getting cabinets in, we'll get countertops in, and then we're finishing this baby out. We're hoping that we're maybe 30 to maybe 45 days out from completion. So things are gonna really start moving from this point. So what else is good about this size of a project? And by no means is it small. This is about a $300,000 remodel. It's, you know, relative to some of the new builds and big remodels we do, it's less dollar amount, but it's still involved. But the best thing about it is a project like this will take 3 to 6 months versus, you know, 12 to 18 months. So we're turning these over, we're keeping all of our guys busy, we're keeping money in, we're keeping salaries going, overhead. It is awesome. I love these, and these will always be a staple of Revamp. So this house is early 1930s. We do tons of restorations from like early 1900s up to 1950, even early 80s and stuff, but this is a little before that. This has a pier and beam foundation, which is a lot easier to run our plumbing. We can run electric down there, we can run ducts, like when you have a really low ceiling that you can't get ducts up in there. But something we're always gonna run into is just an uneven floor. So AJ, why don't you talk about like what's going on here?
So we're gonna be tiling the whole floor, and now that we've opened up the floor plan, we ran into an issue where this main joist here was seemingly bowed upwards. So there was a hump right here in the floor, and in order for us to have a perfectly level floor, we would have to do two things. We either need to reduce the hump, or we had to level the whole entire house, which would have thrown off the transition between both entry points. So we figured it was easier to just drop the floor in since it's pier and beam. So we opened up the floor after we done prepped and got ready to tile. We just realized like this is not gonna work. So we opened up the floor, we dropped down the joist, and right now we're just kind of making sure it's level enough for us to move forward, because that's floor prep is the thing. If your floor is not prepped properly, your tiling is gonna be off somewhere.
Why did you make the choice to fix the joist instead of leveling out everywhere else? Because of those transitions.
Cost was the #1 reason, because the self-leveler comes in bags. They're $30 a bag, and we would have needed 2 pallets, which is 35 bags per pallet. You can probably do the math from there. This was just open the floor, get 2 sheets of plywood, cut down some wood. Just, it only really costs you labor. We already had the wood, we already had everything else. We just had to buy the sheets of plywood, and they were like $30 a sheet.
Well, and here's another good thing. So AJ and Ryan are on salary. They're our in-house craftsmen. So we use them for a lot of different things that can be labor intensive, because, you know, it's like, yes, we're paying for their time, but if we were to hire out someone else, they would charge us an arm and a leg, right? When we can kind of just do this in-house, where our framers, they do all of the bigger walls, like when we opened up this whole space. But now, you know, AJ does framing for us sometimes too, but this is a simple fix.
My lord.
Oh, that's what AJ calls me. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, you cannot call me that.
I'm like super into
The feudal system?
the Game of Thrones era, so it's like I'm so in love with like my lady and my lord. So like he has a lot of mercy. I got my lord,
And I'm like, dude, stop. Like, I'm just like, fix this. And he's like, yes, my lord. I'm like, no. So let's talk about the kitchen. Obviously, we removed these walls for this open concept. As you can see, we have our plumbing for our drain, we have our water lines and some electric. This is where the kitchen island is gonna go. So the island is about 10 feet by 2 feet deep with a 1 foot overhang. So it's about 10 feet by 3 feet. So we have a wall of cabinetry spanning here, wall to wall. We have a really cool green backsplash. And then some of the uppers are actually open shelves, which is just so awesome. When you have a tighter space, it can really open up that room. But such a dramatic, you come in right from the door, see the kitchen, wow factor right out of the gates. Okay, so moving from the kitchen, on the opposite side of the house, we have the utility room. This is another area that people love remodeling because, again, you have these smaller spaces. Where do you keep all your clothes and your junk and your storage? So we're doing some really cool mudrooms and laundry rooms. Check this one out. So through here, this is where we actually moved this wall over. So we created this separation where this was a much bigger space, but it was way less usable. So now we have a more modest size, like still a great utility room, but you're gonna have banks of cabinetry all the way around. Washer and dryer used to be right here on the opposite wall. Now we moved it over here in the corner where it's gonna be a stackable. So now they're gonna have a fully functioning laundry with tons of storage. This used to be a small window. Now what we did is now they have more access to the backyard, and then this deck, we're gonna have to build stairs down, and we're gonna rebuild this whole deck with a synthetic Trex material. Okay, so coming through here from the kitchen into the living space, we have these walls for this big closet that used to be here that bumped out over here. We had a counter there where they had like a desk area. So now what we did is we're framing out these stairs all the way across. So now you have this larger kind of dramatic staircase going down into our living. And if you just look at this, I mean, such a wide open space. This house is only 1,500 square feet, but this space feels like you're in a much bigger home. When you're dealing with older homes, like in the earlier 1900s, it just seems like they love to divide rooms, like say like, this is a sitting area, this is a dining room, here's the formal dining room, here's the kitchen, here's the living room, here's the den. Now, what we're wanting to do is like, this is where we all congregate. So kind of like what's contemporary and how we live is at least all of the common areas, people are wanting a much more open floor plan. Now, some people have taken that way too far and they're just building these massive boxes that, in my opinion, and from the feedback I'm hearing, it is just too much, right? Like you're hearing echoes, sounds going all over the place. So we like to kind of compartmentalize some other intimate spaces off of the common areas. So you have open floor plan, and then you have some of those sequestered bedrooms and bathrooms, or yeah, maybe a sitting area or a dining room. All right, thank you guys for following along. I hope you get a little more understanding of kind of some of the depth of work that we do here at Revent. Like I said, we love these interior only remodels. Keeps the company moving. We get in, we get out. The clients are super happy. If you guys wouldn't mind, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I love you all. Later.